There are 1,001 clinicians out there that will take you on your feet and how do you throw a guy on his ass. You know, but what you don't get typically is, okay, once he's down there, what do I do with him? And that's usually where I take is my strength, although I can certainly spend some time on our feet and throws them down and say with doubles and so on. But you know, they're pretty, here in California, from Azevedo, you know, they're all over the place. You can get technicians on your feet. It's what do you do after you knock them down, you get them down there to turbo. I have 4 hours on the clock, 12, 3, 6, and 9, but I have 2 appendages for. Anything that happens at 3 o'clock is my right arm and right leg. 6 o'clock, both feet. 12 o'clock, both hands. Now, when you wrestle good guys, guys that have been out for a couple of years that are at the 6 or above on a scale of 1 to 10, you can add an hour on either end of that. The good ones, you know, my right arm is now, I can go 11 to 4. I can add an hour here and an hour here. And I got a little bit more range of motion. When you're first learning to wrestle, you only have those 3 hours. And as you get a little better, you learn to cross over into other hours. So there's only, you know, some spots that are weak spots that you want to take advantage of. And that's 10:30 and 1:30. Okay, not 1 and not 2. 1:30, 10:30. Okay, those 2 hours on the clock are paramount to down wrestling. You want to remember 10:30, 1:30. There is a fine line in wrestling between legal and illegal, and a lot of it is the appearance of it. Okay, if I went bah! and hit him, that's probably going to cost me the point in the match, you know. But if how I did that. If you watch, I can do the same thing. Here's the difference in wrestling that most people don't understand. Is here, if I go, it looks like I'm trying to grind a damn thing in and hurt him. That's going to cost me a point. I haven't done anything different than this. But my face looks like I'm not doing anything. It's acting. I'm beating the shit out of him with a smile. If you, the referee will stop me right now. You can see I'm trying to hurt him. Instead of just relaxing and doing the same thing. When I pull him back here, lay here, a little yawn. It's the facial expressions that and I get bubbles out my nose from, you know, snorting. It's the appearance of impropriety, the appearance of illegalness is most of your bar arms. You get that bar arm, you're gonna so much more. You get that son of a bitch look on your face. You know, then these referees start to go, whoa, wait a minute, this guy's, you know, intense. I better stop that. Because it looks like he's trying to hurt the guy, and the referee doesn't want to look bad in front of the crowd. So, the referee will blow the whistle, attention dangerous, or warn you. So it's a lot of times your illegal holds are what they appear to be by how I act. I may spend a little too much time on that one point, but I don't know. It makes the difference. And referees are like rattlesnakes. They always, before they strike, they warn. Watch your arm, watch your arm, watch your arm, Jimmy, watch your arm. They're, watch your arm. And when they say watch the arm, they're ready to go, attention dangerous, or illegal, 1 point. Okay, so when they start going, listen, what's he saying? Especially when you got him on his back. He's saying, if you're not paying attention, I'm going to blow the whistle, I'm going to let him off his back, and if you want that, you keep doing what you're doing. That's what they're saying. So when you hear a referee go, watch your arm, watch your arm, watch your arm, even if you know it's perfectly legal, somehow he doesn't think it is, or he wouldn't be saying what he's saying. So you have to listen to the referee and adjust your strategy, your technique, your philosophy to what he's telling you. He's saying, I don't like what the hell you're doing, stud. Cut it out, or I'm going to stop you. And when you already have him on his back, you don't want to do that. You only get a good guy on his back once. And when you get him there, you want to stick him. You know, you're not going to get a second shot at a good guy and put him on his back unless you're really an exceptional wrestler. Or he's an exceptional dad, some kind of dichotomy. So I crunched down on his fingers. He yelped, pulled his hand out. It took me a moment second. The whole time he's been, you know, you're right. I did. Thank you very much. I'm out of here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. He's not coming in there. I just, they're in my mouth, they belong to me. You know, so he says, yes, they're mine. Is that right? Is that good? Is that bad? What's going on? Oh, just every now and then. Yeah, it's just like, you know.
The ref doesn't see it, it's legal.
Something like that. I remember filling out a form in high school, you know, football team, a couple of teams would recruit me. I wasn't bad football players, but you know, I remember down at the bottom of a couple of them, they, you line or back or this or that. And then one of them, a couple of them said, "Do you kick?" I go, "Yeah." And the ref's not looking. The coach would call back, "I like your attitude. You must be tough." Yeah, when the ref's not looking. Danny Hodge here, he's, Babe Ruth of wrestling. I think Hodge, he wrestled, was undefeated all 4 years in college, was a big-time NCAA champ because he wasn't eligible his freshman year. And there was only 2 kids he didn't pin all year. During his entire career in college. Only 2 got away. And there were no techs or majors back then. So he pinned everybody but 2 in 4 years. Hodge, he was an old farmer, 177 pounder. He had a big set of paws. And he had grip strength to die for. He'd go into hardware stores. And my dad sent me down to buy a pair of pliers, and he said, "Get the very best ones you got." "Well, that's a Stanley, son," or whatever. "Well, I'd like to have them." And you go, they broke. He could break the pliers with his hands. Just take apples and make applesauce. Turn apples into applesauce with one hand. He took the old Oklahoma University, wrestled Oklahoma University. Oh, he wrestled Gary Kurtlemeyer, NCAA champ for the University of Iowa. Gary was the head coach. He's the one that hired Gable as the assistant coach at Iowa. Held him training for 3 years before he retired, and Gabe became the head coach. And Kurtlemeyer was tough. He was a 2-time NCAA champ. He wrestled Ohio 1 year. And I had a photograph, a picture book that I did, pictorial anthology of wrestling I put together. I try to get quotes from people about other wrestlers, and I put the photo of the other wrestler in there and the quote by somebody else. And I went to Kurtlemeyer, because I had Danny Hodge's picture in there. And I said, "Gary, you wrestled Danny. Can you say something about him, that I can put in here to be a, noteworthy quote?" He says, "Yeah, I got one for you." This is the best one I had in the book, and that was great. He said, "When I wrestled Danny," he said, "the first period, I thought I was going to die. In the second period, I was afraid I wasn't." That was a great quote. Well, Hodge had such grip. His arm drag was this. And you're like this. Get sucked into some machinery or something, And when you grab your wrist and hang on, and the next day you'd have 5 fingerprints in black and blue on your wrist. When he left, I used to be convinced he used to, work at a farm, change the tractor, the tire, done. That kind of power. And the old Oklahoma gym used to be an old Quonset hut, the old Army Quonset hut style, was a big old thing. And they were made by 2x4s or 2x12s all the way across and back. And he used to walk up the stairs, bleachers on this side, and go hand over hand across the gym to the other side. In the middle is about a 50-foot drop. But he wouldn't go over the normal way. He'd go this way. For you. Ain't trying that one. He just had that type of grip. Even Hodge today, he still goes to tournaments and makes apples out of applesauce, into applesauce. Danny's got to be 85. He's still going applesauce. Both the Schalles, what talents they were. Mark is, Dave was. What a shame. Dave was great. I've been around all the wrestlers, probably from the 60s up, and there was no one like Dave. He could see something on tape from a match, or a tournament, watch it, figure it out, 5 minutes later walk out without having ever drilled it, and get a competition from watching it and analyzing it from that side. And then, then he'd see something else, and put those 2 bulls together and come up with a hybrid of those 2 after never having drilled or executed that. He was probably our greatest. What's great? Toughest, orneriest, best record, most wins, most this, most that. Just, knowledge, skill, can beat you in any position. To me, great is you can put somebody in a body cast for 6 months in a hospital, cut him out of the next day, kick the hell out of everybody. That's great. When you can just do that. That's the type of talent Mark or Dave Schalles was. I coached Minnesota Union 1 year in 77, something like that. He was a high school senior. He was 149. I was a player coach, coaching the American team. I wrestled 163. And, I was playing with a high school kid. Although he wasn't bad, he beat Chuck Yeager right here in state champion. Anyhow, I'd throw him on his back or something. Coach, how'd you do that? Well, what you did, Dave, is you did here and you stepped up here. Should have stepped up there, because then I was able to, okay. And then 15 minutes later, someone would get it on me. And I wouldn't get it on him again, So I'd change it up and do something else, give him a head walk. Whack! What was that? What you did, you popped your shoulder up just a little bit, your head just a little bit too much on here, and boom, over you went. 15 minutes later, he'd catch me in it. This went on for about a week. We had a 3-week tour over Soviet Union. And at the end of the week, I calmed myself and I started thinking, he's a high school kid, 49-pounder. I'm still going to go for another couple of years to the 80 Olympics. This kid might be a 63-pounder real soon. Boom, one goes back. Coach, how'd you do that? Read my lips. You. That's not going to be there, but you're my coach. Not any longer. You're done learning from me. In 80.001, 1988.001, after the Olympics, show you anything you want to know. Up until then, you're on your own. But you're my coach. I'll sit in your corner. I'm not teaching anymore. Did fall on his head last night. The history of wrestling, it's fun to study the history of the rules, where it came from, and where we are today and how we got here, and some of the greats that are in the sport. It's fascinating to follow the history of the lineage. Everybody knows Babe Ruth and Gary and Ted James and that, but they don't know the Danny Hodges stories or the Bill Cole stories, or some of the greats we had way back when. In first year of the Olympics, the wrestling was 1904, and we had 10 gold medals out of 10 weight classes in the United States. We were the only team showed up. So all the guys that won gold medals in 1904 don't think of them with great awe, other than they were on the team. No one else showed up, so we were 10 for 10. No silvers, no bronze given out, we had 10 golds. But up taking anything away from them, you'd go, oh, okay. But even up to the NCAAs, up through the 1950s, there were only 6, 7 in weight class. And in the 70s, there were 50, 60 in weight class. So back then, there wasn't that many teams that had wrestling. So
and the time period too short too.
They were interesting. In 48, a trivia question: has there ever been anybody who won the NCAA championships and did not wrestle in the finals?
Injury defaults?
Sure. Well, then that then have to be 2 guys in default, and then still somebody.
Somebody that was in the finals and didn't wrestle.
No, he didn't wrestle in the finals at all. He didn't get to the finals.
Disqualification? Was it a disqualification?
Well,
Or he was the only guy in the weight class.
Yeah, not a bad idea. In 48, the NCAAs was also the trials for the Olympics in 48. So they wrestled the NCAA championships in freestyle instead of folk style that one year. And they used to have 3-man round robins. And the guy who won the first 2 bouts, and then the last match of the tournament, the finals, were the silver and bronze going for silver and bronze, and he had already won the gold before he got there. So he wasn't in the finals, but because he already had won the gold, he already beat the 2 guys. Kind of a trick question, but they did wrestle in the Olympics. It was in freestyle. It was any time the NCAAs was wrestling freestyle. Since then, before that was folk style. So, again, it's the whole time you're loose, and bing, there you go. And you'll find that's it's hard to do when you first learn it because you learn to listen. And you get this tighten up, and you stop moving. And then you get caught yourself because you're not able to react. It's not like ballroom dancing, ballet, or whatever you want to call it. Gymnastic motions. That's what Mark Schalles, what you get at Mark's Mark. Mark started out as a gymnast. Some of it is just as a gymnast. He just wants to gut the other dog. He'll stay down there and do what he does. And when you're wrestling, some people are good on their feet, some people like cradles. You'll find something you like, and you'll gravitate. All your positions will end up somehow down on his legs, ankles, and knees. That's where you're going to concentrate your submissions. I've transitioned over the years. I used to jump around. I try to, if I always concentrated on attacking the legs, and they concentrate defensing that. If I had one submission, no matter what they did, they were going to fall into something. I didn't concentrate on 8 submissions on the legs, because if they were good at keeping the legs away from me, I was out to lunch. So I wanted to be able to have something up here, here, here. When wrestling, you want to have on your feet, you've got to have some form of leg attack. You have to have a leg attack. It might be a low single, it might be a swing single, you know, even, double, high crotch. Because they'll shut down other things. They'll shut down a duck under, a fireman's carry, an ankle pick, you know, the non-money moves that are still really good stuff, but you have to have a leg attack. On the bottom, you need one throw down, one get away. You can win any tournament there is in America or in the world. You need one throw down, one get away. You don't even need to know a hold down, like on top. You just be able to get the hell off the bottom when someone's on top of you, they're going to beat the hell out of you. You know, when you're on your feet, you got to find a way of throwing them down. You're going to need a throw down. And they have to be standing on their feet at some time when you're going to get in on the legs. Everything else they can shut down. So the hardest part I had to learn is I had all this peripheral. I had the ankle kicks, I had the duck unders, I could do the front head lock and stuff. And you got in on my legs, that's the worst place you wanted to be. I couldn't wait for you to grab my leg. Because I didn't think of you grabbing my leg, I had your arms. You were committing both of your arms on one of my appendages, so it was a 2-to-1 trade-off, I win. And I would wrestle that way, and I'd take you down. But what I didn't have was a leg attack, and that hurt me. But depending on what side I want to do it on, if I put all my weight over here, I'm isolating one shoulder. Now he can't move that arm. I know he's going to move that. So I get the weight over here. As soon as he starts, see what he did? Freeze. He pulled his hand here, and it's up in the air. He went from here to here. Wonderful. Okay, to him down, boom, I put my weight on one side, I'm off my knees, making him carry my weight, that pins his shoulder down, isolates him, immobilizes. From here, when he wants to get up, he's going to do that. As soon as he does that, then I can continue the arm that direction, and it's a slap. Bam! I want to continue that arm. I'm waiting for that arm to move. As soon as it moves, I continue. If you'll watch, my hand will move with his. From here, as soon as he moves his hand, then I'm scooping it. I'm going with him. I'm going to continue the motion, the momentum that he has taken here, waiting for him to move that arm. As soon as he moves his arm, I follow it. Take the hand, I bang it back, and then I drive my arm through. I don't try to hang onto it here. I try to see how much of an arm that can I get involved here. I want my arm in here if I can. The deeper, the better. The deeper, the better, especially when you got someone that has a set of biceps on. From here. As soon as he pulls back, continue it, and then jam your arm in deep. Don't hold it here to the bar. This is okay. This is great. Get in deep. Okay, now when I'm deep here, we certainly can still run the bars. Now I can start working on this side. Now I got two hands over here. So I'm doing this arm. Instead of having one and one, now I'm having two hands, because this is instant deep. If this was here, I'm controlling that one-on-one. Again, got your biceps, I might be able to do that. I don't. So I want to use two hands. Over. Now I come over here, hook, hand, pull, and start working on my double chins. But I can do something here because I got two hands involved. First thing we're going to learn is how to, when the arm comes back, catch it in deep. Now from here we're going to come out to a right angle and get the hell off our knees again. Okay, now second thought, I'm going to keep my knees up. Don't want to do that. This is good. But deeper you go, the stronger you are. The deeper you go, the stronger you are. Get it in deep. You don't have to do anything with it, just get it in deep. Now he can't get his arm back. Now from here what we're going to do is take our elbow and whack him in the face. He's going to say, what? Okay. Elbow over to the head here. We're not going to go bam, although we could in UFC. But anyhow, here, and now all I'm going to do is say, come here. My elbow. His head can't stop doing that. I don't care how strong your neck is. Here, and my elbow's coming back. I'm just bringing the elbow back. See what happens with his head? It starts to turn. As it starts to turn, then my hand will slip underneath, and I'll lock my hands. Once I get my hands locked, I'm going to put my ear on his side here. I'm going to turn and listen to his chest. Hands here, up front, turn my head down, and listen to his chest. Once I'm here, I get off my knees, and I'm picking his head up. I'm going to drive my chest, my shoulder, into the solar plexus right here. I want all my weight right there on his chest, or on his throat, as I'm picking his head up. That pins his shoulder down, creates a little bit of discomfort, and if I go a little higher on that, you'll find his breathing kind of slows down a little bit. Anytime you can stop the blood flow to the brain, or the oxygen from going through the mouth, down the throat, to the lungs, that's a good thing.